just thought I was live 2 seconds ago and I was talking to nobody for like a solid 2 minutes. How embarrassing. Okay, what are we doing today? So I don't usually do YouTube lives. I don't usually do lives in general. But I figured I would come on here today basically to chat about the season. Because we have all of the songs, which is really exciting. I'm also very blind, so I don't even know, like I can't see anything at all right now. I'm gonna have to squint anytime I see a message come through. But yeah, what are we doing? We are doing a Eurovision Court. What does Eurovision Court? Are people? What's going on? I hear like ads happening. Am I going crazy? I hear a kayak ad happening right now in the background. Oh, now I hear myself. This is crazy. Oh God. Okay, I'll be right back. What is going on? Something is glitching. I hear myself. This is very strange. YouTube, you got to figure out your crap. Huh. I don't want to end this stream. Okay, you know what? What's weird is I can like I'm even turned down the volume fully on my. Okay, I'm just gonna go with it. Screw it. Um, what are we doing today? We're doing a Eurovision Court. What does a Eurovision Court entail? That basically means I'm going to present an accusation to you about Eurovision this season, and you guys are going to have to essentially determine if someone is guilty or not guilty, or if the country is guilty. So this is too weird. I can hear myself, and I can't even turn down the volume. Okay, I've turned down myself. So, the way that this is going to work is we are going to, yeah, essentially name a country, a song, a contestant, or whatever, accuse them of something, not like shady or whatever, but something like, is this country going to come top 5 at Eurovision? Are they guilty of probably that happening or not guilty? All of that stuff. And then you guys are going to make the decision. So, we're going to do a case example. We're going to start off with an example, but it's going to be a legit example. So, let's just get into it. Case number 1. The charge is that Eurovision 2026 is a stronger year than recent contests on average. So, court is now in session, and you guys basically have to say this. Yeah, the accusation is Eurovision 2026 is a stronger year on average compared to recent contests. There's more quality songs, fewer fillers, and overall just a stronger lineup. So, in the comment section right now, say guilty if you believe 2026 is one of the strongest Eurovision years in recent memory, or not guilty if you think recent years were stronger. Oh God, okay, we got a lot of entries already. Okay, so I'm okay, good. We're like legit live, and there's not a lag and all that bull crap. Guilty, guilty. Whoa, okay. Whoa. Okay, so people clearly think. Oh, then there's a lot of not guilties at the end. Some people are doubling up their comments. So, okay. Yeah, it seems overall, though, people think this is a very strong year. I agree. I personally agree. So, you know what? The verdict with that, we're going to say, is it's a guilty. Eurovision this year is stronger than other years in recent memory. Awesome. Guilty. Absolutely guilty. This year, very strong. Guilty. Guilty. Why is this vertical? This is vertical because I, sometimes a live shows up on like the shorts feed, and then sometimes it shows up like just in people's home feeds. And so I guess I figured probably, I think my YouTube shorts do better than my long form video. So I figured more people will find me through the vertical format, but I don't know. Either way, okay, so that was our first case. We're going to move on to case number 2. The charge, the accusation is Sweden is overrated in the odds. So Sweden right now is 6th in the odds. They're currently 6th in the betting odds overall. The accusation is that Sweden is being overrated right now simply because it's Sweden. I'm not saying that's my personal belief. I'm putting that out there in the universe, and you guys have to determine whether or not that's true. So the accusation, Sweden overrated. Type guilty if you think Sweden is getting hype based on reputation, the fact that it's Sweden, blah, blah, blah. Type not guilty if you believe Sweden absolutely deserves to be that high in the odds. They are 6th. Let's wait I should actually get that music going. That would be kind of fun. Let's do that. What's that music from? It's like Jeopardy. Jeopardy music. Right? I think. Huh? Probably. Yeah. All the Old Spice. Got a commercial. The tabs you open here. Another commercial. YouTube with their commercials, I'm telling you guys. Okay. There we go. Okay. So type in the comments. Is Sweden guilty or not guilty? Type guilty if you think Sweden is getting hype based on reputation. Not guilty if you believe Sweden deserves to be sixth in the odds or even potentially higher. A lot of not guilties. Oh, a lot of guilties. This is a controversial one, clearly. Not guilty, guilty, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty, guilty, not guilty. This is really split. Holy crap. Okay. So that indicates to me that it's almost like a tie. Maybe they deserve to be right on the. Maybe sixth is completely accurate because there's a lot of mix here. I'd say maybe we're getting a majority of not guilties. So what would that mean? You know what? Let's edge towards not guilty. Type not guilty if you believe Sweden deserves to be that high in the odds. So you guys clearly, I think, not clearly, but it seems a little slight majority believe that Sweden deserves to be sixth in the odds. So solid with that. We're moving on to case number 3. The charge: Australia is jury bait, but not televote bait whatsoever. So yeah, next country on trial is Australia. The accusation is that Australia's entry is pure jury bait, designated to impress juries, but to potentially flop with televoters. So pure jury bait is essentially the idea that it won't appeal necessarily to televotes, but to juries. Type guilty if you think Australia will struggle with the televote. Type not guilty if you think audiences will love it too. So once again, type guilty if you think Australia will struggle with the televote, and not guilty if you think if you think the audience will love it too. Cool. We're getting some guilty. We're getting some guilty. Oh, people are saying poll. Can I do a poll here? I probably can. I never really considered that. Okay, this is my first time. So also, if you are not subscribed, if you haven't liked this live, feel free to give this live a like, spread the word, spread the joy, all that jazz. And then, of course, subscribe as well, because I will be doing a lot more Eurovision content coming up. Oh, thank you, Trenton Broadcasting. You can make a poll with... I didn't even know people could send money. Thank you I didn't know you could do that on here. Jeez, appreciate it. Okay. Where do I do the poll? I'm so old, guys. Live chat, super chats, top chats. No. Okay. I'm so old. How do we do this? At the bottom? Super chat goal. Oh, that's interesting too. I'm new here, clearly. I don't see an opportunity for me to do a poll thing. Oh, did I find it? Did I find it? Highlighted, saved, no. Oh, I went away for a second. I'm screwing things up because I don't know what's going on. You know what? We'll do another question. You guys will determine that while I figure out what the poll situation is. So let's just start with another question. Also, welcome to all 150 you guys. I think I could read that right. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, if you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe. And now let's move along to case number 4 while I determine how to get this poll shit going. So the accusation is Serbia. This is a controversial one, actually. This is actually quite... I don't even know how. I'm very split on this. I think, anyways, Serbia will not qualify. That is the charge. Serbia is currently 28th in the betting odds, which is kind of low. I see that the fandom seems to like it a lot more than I think the odds are favoring it. So yeah, they're 28th in the betting odds, and only 25 countries, as we know this year, I believe, are making the final. So the accusation is that Serbia will not qualify for the Eurovision final. Type guilty if you believe Serbia will miss the final. Type not guilty if you think Serbia will qualify. And we move along to that question. So everyone in the comments, you have 30 seconds. Not guilty, guilty, all of that stuff. I'm going to, in the meantime, figure out how to do a poll on here. How to do a poll. on a YouTube live stream. This is the issue when you're like older, getting older. Um, okay. So we've typed it. People are saying definitely guilty, not guilty, not guilty, guilty. Jury not liking it, I think. Definitely guilty, guilty. Most people, I think, are saying guilty. Yeah. Most people are saying guilty. What was guilty again? Guilty if you believe Serbia will miss the final? You guys think that's wild. Now I'm sad. Honestly, I didn't like this at first, but this one has really grown on me. Guilty, guilty, not guilty, guilty, not guilty, guilty, definitely guilty. Ooh. People don't think Serbia's gonna make the final. What the heck? I mean, I'm kind of split on this too, to be 100% honest, but now I'm a little devastated. Yeah, that's very depressing. Oh well. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. I'm kind of shocked that you guys think that it won't qualify. Like that's interesting to me because I feel like I've seen the fandom gravitate towards this so hardcore. So now I'm like questioning reality. I'm like, if you guys don't think that it's gonna qualify, then it legit like it really might not. Anyways, okay, we move along. I still have not figured out this poll situation, but I don't have those controls. It might be because I'm doing a YouTube live. That could be potentially why this is happening. Let's read some of the comments. People are saying not guilty. I see them qualifying comfortably. Someone says it has grown on me too. I think it will qualify. Someone says I don't believe the jury will vote for this. Um, yeah, okay. Kind of split overall, but it seems like most people are thinking that Serbia's not going to qualify for the final this year at Eurovision, which is I don't know what to make of that. That's really wild to me. That's really wild that you guys think that because I think the fans I've seen like this more than I thought like the general public outside of Eurovision would. But anyways, we move along to question an accusation and charge number 5. So a shock winner will win Eurovision. That is the charge. So let's dissect this before we say guilty or not guilty. So right now, Finland, France, and Denmark are currently top 3 in the betting odds. The accusation is that none of these countries will end up winning Eurovision. This is a hard prediction to make. Obviously, we haven't seen stagings. We don't know the running orders of the final or anything like that. But yeah, that's the accusation. The accusation is that none of these countries, not Greece, none of these countries, France, Finland, and Denmark will win Eurovision. Type guilty if you believe a surprise winner is coming. Type not guilty if you think the winner will come from those 3 favorites. It's another big one. Because I think combined, these 3 countries make up like 50% of the Eurovision odds for like which country's going to win or whatever in total. So yeah, feel free to type that out. Once again, type guilty if you believe a surprise winner is coming. Type not guilty if you think the winner is going to be either Finland, France, or what was the other one? Finland, France, or Denmark. You have 30 seconds. Seen a lot of guilty, not guilty for sure, not guilty, not guilty, guilty. It's really all over the place. A poll would be helpful. If I saw a flippin' poll, I would love that. But unfortunately, I don't see that at all. Connect with your audience through highlighted messages. Is that maybe it? No, I don't think that's it. See it. Alrighty. Okay. Perfect. So yes, as you know, you had to type guilty if you believe a surprise winner is coming, and type not guilty if you think the winner will be from one of the favorites, Finland, France, or I always forget this one, Denmark. Let's see. You guys are saying mostly not guilties. I'm saying. So people are saying not guilty for sure. There's a majority of not guilties here. Someone said maybe Malta. Listen, if Malta wins and the competition next year is in Valletta or whatever, I'll be so happy. I'll be so warm. I'll be so happy. But I don't know if that's gonna happen. Malta gets crapped on by the televote every single year. Every single year. Um, okay, cool. So it seems like most people are saying not guilty. So that means you think the winner will come from the favorites, meaning Finland, France, or Denmark. Interesting. I really, I'm going to be real. I struggle to see Finland. I struggle to see Denmark and France. I think France will do well with the juries. I don't think televotes are going to gravitate this nearly as towards this nearly as much as they did even towards like JJ or Nemo. But I think we'll do well with the jury. I don't think it's going to be a landslide jury with Nemo or JJ though. Like I don't even think it would honestly win the jury. Like I think we'll do well with the jury. So I'm kind of iffy about this France being in second right now in the odds. That doesn't 100% make sense to me, but hey, what do I know? Okay, so yeah, most of you guys said not guilty. It seems you guys think that the winner will come from either Finland, France, or Denmark. Very interesting. I always love a surprise. I love a shock. So I think it would be cool if it wasn't one of those countries. But at the same time, Finland is my favorite country in this competition, along with Australia. So that's where I stand. Let's read some of these comments. Someone said I searched where you can find poll. It's with the plus icon, and you can create the poll. I don't know where it is. See, I see a plus icon, but for me, I actually don't have the when I type it might be just I don't know. Maybe I don't have enough subs. Like maybe you have to reach a certain level or something like that. Yeah, because I see super chat goal or gift goal. I mean, those are awesome. Those are cool, but um I don't see anything aside from that. So yeah. Yeah, there's no plus for me aside from that. Oh well. It's all good. It's all good. We're having a good time. Australia banger. Yes, Australia. Okay, I'm happy people are liking Australia because I feel that the Eurovision fandom isn't always so kind to Australia, which makes me very sad. I love Australia in this competition, this year especially, and I feel like yeah, like there's moments where they didn't do super well in the competition where I thought they deserved to do better, but they were kind of not. They were let down by the televote. For example, Dami Im coming first in the juries, fourth in the televote, when I think that song for me was like the best by a landslide that year. Someone said, I hope Soren wins. Georgia winner, question mark. I think I'm crazy. I don't think you're crazy. I mean, I don't think they could win, but I don't think you're crazy because I freaking love Georgia's song too. Georgia is very, very high up for me. And I'm seeing that the Eurovision fans are not loving it so much. So I'm with you. I'm aligned in the fact that I am a big fan of Georgia. I'm gonna just take a sip because I feel the laryngitis incoming. Oh, we'll get to Choke Me. Don't worry. We're going to talk about Choke Me today. And that makes me think let's move along to case number 6. The charge is the UK is a dark horse. Um, that is the charge. The accusation is that the UK is this year's dark horse or one of the dark horses, a country that could surprise everyone in terms of the results. Type guilty if you think the UK could shock people this year. Type not guilty if you don't think the UK is going to do well really much at all. So that is the case. That is the accusation. Now it's your time to vote. So yes, once again, type guilty if you believe a surprise winner. Oh no, that's not it. Type guilty if you think the United Kingdom could shock people this year. Type not guilty if you don't think they're going to do well in the competition this year. Let's see what people are saying. People are saying not guilty, not guilty, not guilty. Whoa. Okay, literally everyone is saying not guilty. This is, I mean, now we're getting like one or two guilties, but the vast majority of you say not guilty. What was not guilty again? I have such a bad memory. Not guilty if you don't see it happening. Okay, a lot of people don't see the United Kingdom doing well in the competition at all. And guess what? I'm aligned. I don't think this is it's different. Different is great, but at the end of the day, I think you need two the most important things at Eurovision in order to do well, in my opinion, is quality, obviously, but also memorability. And it has the memorability factor because it is different, it is unique, it will stand out. And I don't think it will stand out for the wrong reasons. I'm not saying it's a horrible song. This year, there's very few horrible songs, but I don't see a ton of merit. So I don't think the quality is 100% there. Do I think it's going to come in last? I don't. The staging will determine a lot here, though. But yeah, wow, a lot of you said not guilty. Although I will say, shout out to Lukasz Fincha M2Y. You clearly, you're like guilty, guilty, guilty. You're obviously a big fan of the UK this year, so that's awesome. Love that for you. I'm not a big fan. um, yeah, cool, cool, cool. Someone said, hi, hello. What place on the board are those Sweden stands on? Oh, Sweden is sixth in the odds, if that's what you mean. Someone says Estonia qualifies. I like it a lot. Well, girl, I like that you like it. I certainly do not like it. I am not a fan of it at all. Oh my God. It says I can add a question or answer sticker. Start question or answer. Wait, does that allow? What's a question or answer sticker? Let's see what's going on here. Oh no. How do I get rid of this? Album cover art? Okay, no. Okay, let me do a poll, YouTube. Give me the option to do a poll. I want a poll. They're not going to listen to me. No one's listening to this from YouTube. Are you a fan of Sweden or Georgia more? When I tell you that is tough. I love Sweden probably more. I will say, if it was the option between who I want to win more between Georgia and Sweden, let's be real. Take me to Tbilisi. We've been to Malmo. We've been to Stockholm. In the past, we've been to Gothenburg. I want to go to Tbilisi for Eurovision. That would be so epic. That would be so cool. You know, unlike any culture I've ever experienced personally, I think that would be an awesome Eurovision. Plus, yeah, that would just be great. It'd be great. Someone says Montenegro top 10. Now, that is bold considering the fact that they're dead last in the odds. They are dead last, people. We need to support. Okay, this is my this is my spiel. We need to support these countries that we never vote for in the televote when they have good songs, i.e., Malta, Montenegro, Malta, Montenegro. Yeah, I can't think of any more off the top of my head. Georgia. I mean, I like Georgia. I think it's pretty controversial in the fandom, though. A lot of people seem to not like it. But anyways, let's move on to case number 7. Okay, the charge. This is a controversial one. This is actually, I mean, anytime you say the word Israel, it's going to be controversial. So put your seatbelts on. The charge: Israel and Ukraine will win their semifinals once again. We've seen it happen last year. We saw it happen the year before with Israel and Ukraine coming second in their semi. So yeah, the next case obviously concerns two Eurovision not only powerhouses recently, but also, there's a political element here in terms of voting and all of that stuff, or not necessarily political, some may say, but maybe a sympathy vote potentially. The accusation is that Israel and Ukraine will both win their respective semifinals for Eurovision the second year in a row. Type guilty if you believe they'll top their semifinals again. Type not guilty if you think another country will beat either one of them or both of them. And now let's begin. Oh, once again, the ads with YouTube. Let's go through the ads. We'll wait for that ad to finish. But anyways, the type guilty if you think they're gonna basically win their semifinals. Type not guilty if you think one or both will not win their semifinals. Guilty, guilty, not guilty, diaspora, guilty. I hope not guilty, guilty, not guilty. This is very all over the place. Not guilty, not guilty, guilty. Ukraine non-qualification. That's wild. That is bonkers, let me tell you. You guys are active right now. Okay. So let's see what people said. Guilty, guilty, not guilty, not guilty, sadly guilty, not guilty, guilty. This could not be more 50-50. Guilty, not guilty, not guilty. Nobody will like Ukraine, but it will still win. Israel non-qualification. Sean, I'm pregnant and it's yours. Well, I mean, you got to tell my partner about that then. Guilty, Luxembourg qualifies. We'll get to Luxembourg too, but right now this is very split. I don't know what's going on. Portugal withdraws on show day. That would be crazy. I don't see that happening. Wow. Okay. I don't know what to tell you guys. It seems like your case number 6, UK is a dark horse. Oh no, we already did that one. Yeah, okay, so you guys are very split. I'm now very confused. I don't know if it's guilty or not guilty because this is why I wish now there was a poll option. YouTube, if you're listening, no one's listening. YouTube, people, put a poll option for me to have because I can't determine right now if it's 50-50, 60-40, what's going on. Um, I'll say it's a split. It seems like 50% of you think that Israel and Ukraine will win their semifinals. 50% of you think that they will not win their semifinals. Very, very interesting. I don't know what to make of it, but yeah, we'll move on to case number 8. This is an interesting one too. Moldova will be top 10 with the televote. So Moldova is currently 23rd in the betting odds, but they always seem to do pretty well with the televote. The accusation is that Moldova will still manage to finish in the top 10 of the televote. Type guilty if you think Moldova will smash the televote and come top 10. Type not guilty if you don't see that happening. Guilty, guilty, not guilty. Oh, most people are saying guilty. Whoa, this could be crazy. Moldova could do really well. Like, let's think about it. 2022, I think, yeah, in Italy, they had a very similar esque type of like crazy song or whatever, Kisha Nata Bucharest, and that came second with the televote. And let's be real, I think if Ukraine wasn't in the obvious shit predicament that they were in because of the invasion, maybe there's a potential that Moldova could have actually won the televote that year, which is kind of crazy to think a song like that could have won the televote, but that was a weak year. Anyways, the point is, a lot of you are saying guilty, which indicates to me that you think Moldova actually is solidly going to be in the top 10. This is a shock. This is a shock to this is a shock to my system. I can't get this out of my system. But yeah, that's really wild. I'm seeing like barely anyone saying not guilty. Whoa, I'm having a moment right now of like I personally would have typed not guilty. But now you guys are making me think if y'all are voting for Moldova, Moldova's going to do real well. Wild. Wow, everyone really thinks guilty. Okay, unbelievable. Okay, we'll move on to question, or not question, case number 9. The question, the accusation, Austria will finish last or second last. Yeah, so next country on trial is Austria. Accusation is Austria is finishing last or second last in the Eurovision final. Type guilty if you think Austria is heading towards the bottom. Type not guilty if you think that they will do better. Let's start the music. Once again, type where are we? Type not guilty. No, type guilty if you think Austria will finish at the bottom. Type not guilty if you think that they're going to do better than last or second last at the Eurovision final. Most people are saying it's a slight. It seems a slight towards guilty. Actually, now there's a lot more guilties coming in. Sean, what's your favorite part of the Eurovision entry this year? I would say the key change for Australia knocks my socks off every god dang time. So that has to be it for me. So yeah, let's keep this one going because I'm shocked by the overwhelming results. We'll just see if anyone, yeah, type guilty if you think that Austria is coming last. Type guilt or second last. Type not guilty if you think they're doing better. Okay, let's see what the responses are. I mean, it's pretty obvious with this one. This one might be one of the most obvious. People are really saying guilty, guilty, guilty for Austria. So they think that Austria is heading towards the bottom of the scoreboard. I struggle to not see that happening too. I think that's going to happen. I feel sad. I think he's actually super talented. He's super young. I think he's like 19. He's got a great voice. Like there's moments of the song where it's like I feel like I'm like, why did you send this? I feel like this is kind of just a lazy. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to be mean, but I'm not a fan of it. I mean the message behind the song is definitely interesting. Of like you can't come into the club if you're not gonna dance the night away. I love that vibe. You have to have a dance license. That's what the song translates to is dance license. But yeah, I am not that keen that it's gonna do super well. And honestly, it's a host country. Host countries never do well at the Eurovision final. So Yeah, there's a lot of not good things happening for Austria this year. We'll move on to case number 10. The charge is that Bulgaria's song is simply way too chaotic. I've seen a lot of people absolutely love the chaos. I mean, the song is actually going quite viral on TikTok right now. But then I've also seen a lot of people say this song is all over the place. People are not going to like it, yada, yada, yada. So, accusation is that Bulgaria's song is too all over the place, mixing too many ideas and genres into one track. Type guilty if you think the song feels messy. Type not guilty if you think the chaos will actually work. Let's do the Jeopardy music. So, once again, we're at case number 10. Type guilty if you think the song feels too messy for Eurovision. Type not guilty if you think the chaos actually works and will pay off at the end. Guilty, not guilty, not guilty, guilty. Oh, this is a little all over the place. So most people are saying not guilty. So most people think that the chaos will work. It's still pretty 50-50. I saw a slew of guilties. Now I'm seeing a slew of not guilties. Let's continue this until we get something a little bit more definitive, although it seems a little bit 50-50 split. Not guilty, not guilty, not... Okay, maybe there's a little bit more not guilties. So people, for the most part, seem to think that this will actually work out for Bulgaria. They're mixing a lot of genres. I will say the tempos are different at many periods throughout the song, which is going to be a struggle, I think. Personally, I think this will be a struggle for them. We'll see what will happen. But most people here, I mean, it's interesting. For the most part, I've agreed with you guys. This is the one where I think I'm disagreeing with the majority of you. And that's totally, listen, opinions, we all got them. And that's what makes the world go round. So, yeah. It's interesting, the last two Eurovision years, we've gotten winners that, with JJ mixed opera and EDM and pop. Nemo did pop, opera, and rap. And now we're seeing an influx of many Eurovision songs where the artists are merging many genres, which is something we honestly have not seen like ever at Eurovision in the or not ever, I won't say, but like it really hasn't happened that much up until the last couple of years. And this year we're getting like a lot of those entries. I think some of those entries are merging genres in a very beautiful, seamless way, similar to Nemo. And then some of them it feels disjointed. Poland is an example. For me, Bulgaria is another example. But yeah, it seems like you guys like it, and I think that's awesome. Someone says, "What do you mean guilty?" So guilty is like you think that the accusation is like they're guilty of it. That it's true, and then not guilty is you think that it's false. So we're gonna move along to case number 11. The charge is Norway should have sent. This is This is controversial. The charge is Norway should have sent Alexander Rybak. Now think about this one. I know a lot of people in the fandom for some reason are like really anti Alexander Rybak, but think long and hard because I will say he's very well known, and on top of that too, Norway's right now not doing well in the betting odds, and so we'll see what you guys have to say. But yeah, next case, Norway accusation is Norway would have done better if Alexander Rybak represented them instead. Type guilty if you think Norway missed on this opportunity. Type not guilty if you think the current entry is the right choice for Norway. Let's begin the guilty or not guilty process. Song answer bottom. Type guilty if you think Norway missed out on the opportunity of doing better by sending Alexander Rybak. Type not guilty if you think the current entry is the right choice. Okay, let's see. Not guilty, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty. This is the most overwhelming I've seen. Someone said very guilty. Oh, interesting. Not guilty, not guilty. Should have sent Emma. Guilty, but Frankenstein. Not guilty, not guilty, not guilty. Most people are saying not guilty. Wow, people do not like Alexander Rybak, or they just really like Jonas Love. Either way, we've got a very definitive result with this one. And that's very interesting to me. All right, intermission. If you are watching right now, make sure to subscribe, like this video as well. I'm going to be continuing to pull out Eurovision content for eternity, into infinity. Sissel reference right there. So yeah, make sure to subscribe, like this video, all that jazz, and we will continue to get into it with case number 12. Melodifestivalen was weaker this year. So next case, Sweden's national final. The accusation is that Melodifestivalen was weaker this year compared to previous years. Not necessarily talking about Felicia in my system, but just generally Sweden and Melodifestivalen. Type guilty if you think the lineup wasn't as strong this year. Type not guilty if you think the quality was still quite high. Once again, type guilty if you think the lineup wasn't as strong at Melody Festival this year compared to previous years. Type not guilty if you think the quality was still quite high. Guilty, 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 extremely guilty, 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 guilty. Oh my God, where's the not guilties? Holy guilty, 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 extremely guilty, guilty, not guilty. Okay, that's the first not guilty we have that I've seen so far. Holy, this is the most overwhelming response we've gotten so far. Whoa. I did not even hear where was the complaints throughout that? Wait, guilty. If you think the line. Yeah, I didn't hear much complaints about Melody Festival this year. Now all of y'all are coming on here saying that it was like the worst Melody Festival of all time. That's funny. Someone said justice for Alexa. Guilty, but we love Felicia. I will say that. I don't think it's like horrendous for Melody Festival and standards. I definitely think it was weaker than average, but I'm certainly thinking that Felicia, for me, is a slightly above average Swedish representative. Wow, you guys like really didn't like Melody Festival this year. Holy, I can't complain. I can't disagree, honestly. I just put out a video of my favorite national final songs this year. And I think there was only one entry from Sweden. Yeah, there was only one entry from Sweden on that list. Check out that video to see what that entry is. Tacky, cheesy. But yeah, so crazy, very wild of the overwhelming response that we got with that one. Okay, moving on. Question number 13. We only have 2 questions left to go. We've been doing this. When did I start this? It's 11:33. I've only been doing this for 33 minutes. I started this at 11. It feels like we've been doing this for like a century. That's so wild. Time flies by when you're having fun. Ain't that the mother tucking truth? Felicia's overrated, guilty. Wow, absolutely love Felicia. Hate the song. Whoa, someone said they hate this song. I haven't heard a lot of backlash towards Felicia, so that's interesting. Okay, that was a really interesting one. Okay, moving along. Austria had the weakest national final of the year. Now, I heard a lot of people complaining about Austria's national final. It was certainly weak. The song that we got aligns with that. It's not the best. And so, yeah, the accusation is that Austria had the weakest national final of the entire Eurovision season. Type guilty if you think Austria's selection was the weakest. Type not guilty if you think another country had a worse national final. And now we begin the music. Once again, type guilty, sorry, if you think Austria's selection was the weakest this year. Type not guilty if you think another country had a worse national selection. Someone said Cosmo should have not have won. Someone said guilty, not guilty, guilty, guilty. Poland's was weaker. Guilty, guilty, not guilty. Festival de Canção was weaker. Guilty, not guilty, not guilty. Ooh, okay. Someone said, what was it? So yes, type guilty if you think Austria's selection was weakest. Not guilty if you think the country had, if another country had the weakest national final. I don't really know what to make of this. It's a little all over the place. Guilty. A lot of people are saying guilty. A lot of you are saying not guilty. I'd say overall, slight majority of you maybe are saying guilty. It's tough. Someone's saying make a poll. Listen, if I can make a poll, I will make a poll. At this point, I've tried to make a poll. No one. I can't make a poll. I still don't have the option. I don't know what's going on with my YouTube live, but either way, it seems the majority of you are saying guilty. Although Other people have referenced Estonia's national finals being weak, along with Poland's. So I would agree. Those to me probably are the three weakest as well. Germany is not too far behind. Oh wait, we don't have three more. We have a lot more. Okay, let's get through them. Yeah, but we okay, let's move on to case number 14. The charge: Montenegro should not be last in the odds. That is the charge. So basically, Montenegro is better than being last in the odds. That's the accusation. Montenegro is currently last in the betting odds. The accusation is that Montenegro does not deserve to be last. Type guilty if you think the odds right now are being unfair to Montenegro. Type not guilty if you think the ranking makes complete sense. Now, let's begin. Once again, type. Oh my god. Okay, type guilty if you think the odds are unfair to Montenegro. Type not guilty if you think the ranking makes sense for Montenegro to be last in the betting odds. Right now, people. Oh, okay. Do we even have to do this much more? Everyone's saying guilty. Guilty, guilty, guilty. No, Novazora going to the final. Guilty, 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 guilty. Y'all say guilty, but y'all are not going to vote for it. No one ever votes for Montenegro or Malta. Montenegro's only qualified twice for the final out of 13 appearances at Eurovision. It's bleak for them. It's bleak. It's a tough competition for this, poor Balkan nation. I don't mean poor in that way. I mean poor, like poor for them, because it's sad that they are treated so unfairly in the competition. Okay. It seems everyone is saying guilty. I have not seen a single not guilty. Oh, if I see once not guilty, I will go crazy. It's funny. I saw a not guilty and I was like, oh, we have a not guilty. But no, you're just saying you're going to go crazy if you do see a not guilty. Okay. Wow. Let's move on to case number 15. The charge: Israel. Oh, this is okay. Are we ready to get spicy? Type in the comments if you're ready. Eurovision Group 2. Oh my God. Thank you very much. This money thing is very new to me. I very much appreciate it. How do I heart or send my love? Thank you very much. I really, really appreciate that. Yeah, it's very kind. Would I ever host a Eurovision cruise? Is that a question? I mean, sign me up. If there's ever a Eurovision cruise, I know that Royal Caribbean did that. Like they did like Eurovision cruises or whatever, and I would literally die to be on one of those. Like I cannot. I've only been to one Eurovision 2023 in Liverpool, and genuinely, like, I left that trip, and I like confidently got back from that trip, and I was like, yeah, those objectively were the best 8 days of my life. There's not a question in my brain. There's not a, there's nothing to it. So a Eurovision cruise would probably top Eurovision from Liverpool. Those days, my experience there, which was freaking epic. And so, yeah, like absolutely, I would host a Eurovision cruise. I don't know if anyone would want me to host a Eurovision cruise, but I'd be there. I'd be there. I would be on the cruise. Okay, let's move along. What was the question? Oh, okay, okay. Are we ready for a very controversial? Oh, and thank you very much for that. That is very sweet of you. Is everyone ready for a very controversial Eurovision question? Because we have one coming up, and I want to know if we're ready for this. um, yes, I am ready. I'm not ready. I'm from Asia too, and I voted last year. Sean singing Hollow on karaoke. Hollow. Oh my god, I cannot sing Hollow. That would destroy. My vocal cords would be bleeding. I'd be tasting blood. It'd be disgusting. We need a medic on that cruise immediately. Okay, guys, you want it? I will provide you with it. Okay, controversial question, case number 15. I want you to think about this one long and hard, not just what the general fandom thinks or what you personally have thought or whatever, like whether you think that they should be in the competition or not. Think long and hard about this one, the ramifications of including them or disqualifying them. The question and the case is: Israel shouldn't be in Eurovision 2026. So the next case, one of the most debated topics, obviously this year, the last couple of years, the accusation is that Israel should not be competing in Eurovision 2026. Type guilty if you believe Israel should not participate. Type not guilty if you believe Israel should remain in the competition. Let's get started. This one's an interesting one because I feel like a lot of the times we hear from people who feel very strongly about this, and a lot of the time the people who feel strongly may be people who are angry about what's taking place. So that's why I thought, let's open it up. Let's see if the real majority of people, who just the general public, think that they should be in it or should not be in it. I hate having this Jeopardy happy music actually with this one because this is a little bit more of a serious conversation. So I'm gonna get rid of that Jeopardy music. But yeah, I think a lot of the fandom maybe doesn't want to admit that there are some ramifications of excluding them from the competition. With Khan, maybe Khan will be dismantled. They're one of the few public broadcasters in Israel that actually is anti-government, anti-Netanyahu. A lot of the times they criticize the regime. By the same token, they've done things. The spokespeople from Khan, they've done things that have been. I mean, I don't even to say regrettable would be an understatement. So it's a complicated one. Obviously, when we know what's taking place in the world too, and with that crisis unfolding, it's tricky. It's a tricky situation more than I think a lot of people would care to admit. What are people saying about this? Implications on both sides. People are saying guilty, very guilty, so guilty, not guilty, guilty, absolutely guilty, not guilty, guilty, not guilty. Song is great, but quality. Oh, but guilty. Song is great, but guilty. Oh, can't read. I don't have my glasses on. I'm a problem. Someone said neutral in this question. Interesting. Not worth 5 countries leaving. See, that's the thing where it's tricky. I'm like, do I? Yeah, I'll probably make a video explaining my opinions about this at some later date because anything that I say will be taken, distorted, contorted into weird ways, and someone will complain about it on Twitter, I'm sure. So I'm just gonna, and I'll leave that for a future video where I can explain myself eloquently in terms of why I think it's a complicated one. Guilty, not guilty, guilty, not guilty, guilty, not guilty. This is really on the fence. Guilty, but I'm debating. Someone said, not guilty, not guilty, guilty, not guilty, guilty, not guilty, not guilty. Someone said Israel should be in Eurovision, not guilty. I don't know, but I think I'm mostly guilty. Whoa, okay. This is why it's a shock. I'm completely shocked. Genuinely thought that vast majority of people would say that they should be disqualified from the competition. But as I said, I kind of posed the question just as a human experiment because I think a lot of the times the people that feel most furious about the decision are inevitably going to be most vocal. It seems like we have I don't even know. Seems like we have a slight majority towards guilty, I'll say, overall. So that is people believing that Israel should not participate, although it is close to 50-50. Which is once again, I'm happy I asked that question because very, very interesting results there. Yeah, very interesting results. Maybe it's just my own audience that is maybe a little bit more in favor of that, but overall, it seems the majority, slight majority of you want them to be disqualified from the competition at least this year. It seems they're going to be here, so that's what it is. Yeah, you're asking if I want to disqualify my own country. Oh, someone's okay. Well, yeah, then I guess people from Israel, it makes sense, I guess. Well, I mean, I've seen a lot of people also from Israel saying this should be a year where we step out, but I would assume the majority of people from Israel want to partake. So let's move on to question, case, accusation number 16. Oh, wait, no, we just did number 16. Never mind. Haha, hee hee. Okay, case, accusation number 17. Felicia, okay, this is related to this. Why did I organize it in this way? Now it's just controversy after controversy. This one I have strong opinions about, and I will get into that. And I disagree with most of the people I've seen online, but once again, we'll see. Charge is Felicia's comments were inappropriate. So, next case concerns an artist's comments. Felicia made statements about her belief that Israel should not be in the competition. The accusation is that those comments should not be allowed for a Eurovision artist to make. Type guilty if you think the comments crossed a line. Type not guilty if you think artists should be free to express their views on political matters. Let's take it away. Let's get into it. Not guilty, not guilty, love Felicia, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty, 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 not 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 guilty. Ah, okay. It seems like we have a unanimous verdict with that one. So let's just get right into that one. Yeah, I think that one's an interesting one. I understand why people say not guilty. I think it totally makes sense. An artist should be free to speak their minds on matters. The only reason where I understand where the EBU is coming from when they basically say we spoke to SVT and spoke to the artist is that if we have artists who now are making statements on matters that pertain directly to what's taking place in the contest, relating to things that, you know, yeah, I guess the implication I'll say related to this is that, people could now vote for someone not necessarily because of their song, but because of their beliefs, which, in a competition like Eurovision, debatable whether or not that should be allowed because, the intention is for it to be purely about music and all this stuff. But with that being said, outside of the contest, it seems more fair game, I guess, from the perspective of the EBU. So this is a tough one because it's like there are artists who could absolutely capitalize on the situation that's taking place and potentially use it to their advantage in terms of getting votes. So I do, as much as I know the EBU's getting, thank you very much. Yeah, wow. Kieran, I really appreciate it. So yeah, I just think it's a tricky situation. I think a lot of people maybe don't want to admit how much of a tough position it kind of puts the contest in. But yeah, someone said everything is political though. Absolutely. I think that's a good point too. Is like, we're muzzling these artists. Should we be muzzling these artists? This is why I think it would be actually great to have like an open debate with people who feel strongly like on one side of the equation versus the other and like have a battle of the minds as opposed to having like basically discourse of like one narrative being purported and like everyone just like essentially agreeing with it and being like yeah 100%. Because I think there are, I mean, even looking at these comments, it seems there's mostly it seems like people are happy that she's able to, what she that she spoke her mind, but there's also other people on the other side of the equation, and I think kind of explaining both sides, the implications to everything is definitely important. That being said, I really see both sides. I know that's a maybe it makes people feel uncomfortable, but I think this one's a complicated one because now the artists that maybe haven't said anything, does it put them at a disadvantage? Is this leveraging Felicia because of her, statements? And we've seen even like from previous contestants the last couple of years, there's been like objectively performative acts. We've seen contestants say like, my country shouldn't participate at Eurovision, and then what do you know? They're in their country's national final and they end up winning. We saw that that's a one example of like objective performative activism, I'd say. And so for me, when I look at cases like that, I do go, could contestants similarly leverage opinions, whether or not they strongly believe in it or whatever, just to do well in this competition? That's something I'll put there. It's food for thought at the end of the day. Okay, two more. We have really reached, yeah, we reached my personal favorite question of the whole live stream, which is this one coming up. So, case number 18, charge Boy George will fail to qualify for the Eurovision Grand Final. Next case, Boy George. The accusation is that Boy George will become the most famous artist in Eurovision history to fail to qualify for the final. Type guilty if you think he won't make it to the final. Type not guilty if you think he will qualify. This is an interesting one. To have someone like of that status not qualify for Eurovision, it would be a Eurovision first, I believe. Cascada automatically was in the Eurovision Grand Final. Bonnie Tyler automatically in the Eurovision Grand Final. Engelbert Humperdinck automatically in the Eurovision Grand Final. ABBA, back in the days where there was just one final. Celine Dion, same thing. So this could be an interesting situation, shall we say. Let's start the music. So yeah, let's see. The question here is, will Boy George fail to qualify for the final? Type guilty if you think he won't make it to the final. Type not guilty if you think he will qualify. Guilty, 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 guilty superstar, more like super sad. Guilty, guilty. Well, it's almost like guilty F him. Interesting. People do not like him. Given his Twitter comments, hard for me to, not see their point of view. Guilty, 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 guilty. Superstar, more like super sad. Someone said, I want San Marino to qualify, but I don't think they will. Did he talk about Israel? I did talk about Israel at one point, but now you missed it. But don't worry, trust me, there'll be plenty of content relating to, their involvement in this competition coming at you. So yeah. Guilty, he is a criminal, someone said. Yeah, he has some interesting allegations. I haven't read into it, but I've seen that people have said that he's done some really shady stuff, but I need to look into it to comment further. Who do you think will win? Oh, we'll get into that. We will get into that. We'll have a nice little chat after this last question coming up. But it seems most people right now think that San Marino will not qualify for the Eurovision Grand Final and that Boy George will become the most famous person to fail to qualify for the Eurovision Final. Wild. Okay, well, we got one last question. Before this last question, make sure to subscribe, turn on the like button as well for this YouTube live as well. But yeah, make sure to definitely subscribe. I'm putting out my next video is actually going to be, I think, probably my favorite video, I would say, of the season, where I'm going to rank every single Eurovision song of 2026. Yeah, we're in 2026. So that's going to be a really special one. It's going to be super fun. You guys are probably going to disagree with me on many things, probably agree with me on many things. I would love to see a lot of comments on that video just because I love seeing what people think in general in terms of like where they rank all of the different songs. So yeah, that one will be my next video. So stay tuned. Make sure to subscribe for that one. And let's get into this final question. Case number 18, nope, 19, sorry. Oh, we almost had 20. I should have just done 20, a round number. But case number 19, the charge is Romania's song is simply too controversial for Eurovision. Final case before the Eurovision jury, which is you guys today, Romania's entry, Choke Me, has sparked debate. The accusation is that the song is simply too controversial, even if its intention is not to be for Eurovision. Type guilty if you think the song crosses the line. Type not guilty if you think Eurovision should just suck it up and handle it, and people are being maybe too dramatic about it. We'll see. So yeah, let's start with this one. That's the question. Type guilty if you think Romania's song crosses the line. Type not guilty if you think Eurovision fans should suck it up, essentially, and not complain. The song is called Choke Me, if you don't know. The artist said that the song is about when your life and your anxieties feel like they're suffocating, and you're saying to them, you know what, choke me. I don't give two about it. But a lot of people are interpreting it to be like a BDSM anthem, like choke me in the bedroom type of vibes. So yeah, let me know. Not guilty or guilty. Most people are saying not guilty here. Someone said not guilty. Can anyone choke me? Not guilty, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty. I have not seen a single guilty. Wow. Okay. Most of you are definitely saying not guilty. So it seems like the verdict is clear. Not guilty. Most of you are very happy about Romania's song. You don't care much about the, anything related to the content of lyrics and stuff like that. So fair enough. Cheers to that. I'm a big fan of Romania's song as well. We've reached the court. That's all done. Very interesting takeaways from that experience. I think for the most part, I agreed with everyone. Maybe there was like two or three, maybe three cases where I was not aligned with the majority of the, what do you call it, the jury, which is you. But nonetheless, very interesting. Now let's just chat. Let's just chat about, for the next couple of minutes. We have 5 more minutes until I have to skedaddle for lunch. But let's chat about what your favorites are. I want to know, like, drop the emojis of the countries that is your favorite at Eurovision this year. Why is World Vision a lawyer? Trust me, I'm not a lawyer. I ain't got the neural capabilities to be a lawyer. It's too much brain power for me. Will Alice qualify? Oh my god, I'm obsessed with Albania. That one's probably my biggest grower of the year. I heard it for the first time and I was like, not that big of a fan. Whew. The more I hear it, the more I'm like, tens across the board. Just big fan of it. Also like the music video. That was really cool. You're my favorite Eurovision YouTuber. I really appreciate it. I'm sending the love right back to you. Well, that's cool. I'm like a floating head. I appreciate the love, and appreciate the comment as well. What do you think about Dara? I think the song for me is a little bit too all over the place. I'm sad about that because I think she's like a very, very competent vocalist, performer. The choreography is incredible. Like the choreography is not crazy, but like you could tell she's a really good dancer. I think there's a lot of potential that she could bring to the contest. I just don't think this song, honestly, is striking me as the best option. I'm sorry. I know. Thoughts about Croatia? Croatia is definitely in my top 10. I'm obsessed with this song. I wish I was seeing more love for it. It makes me really nervous going into the competition that I'm not seeing tons of love for it, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Thoughts on Georgia? Obsessed with Georgia too. Same thing. I wish I was seeing more love for Georgia. I really, really like their entry this year. I think the vocalists are great. I think the song takes really interesting directions, nice twists and turns. It all feels like a very seamless 3-minute package. And so I'm a big fan of Georgia. People's favorites. People are saying Romania, Finland, Denmark, Moldova. Denmark, Finland. Someone said I love Armenia. You know what? I've not seen many people talk about Armenia, and I like that entry too. Yeah, I like that entry quite a bit. That's like a guilty pleasure of mine this year. Um, Someone said Australia. My favorite is Sweden, Romania, Denmark, Croatia, and Greece. Interesting. Denmark, Akilas. Thanks, Sean. Romania, France. Whoa, we're getting some France with Laura Dem, and yeah, France. I wish I liked France more. France, I feel like she's such an incredible vocalist. And we see that in the song. I just wish she took it up a notch. You know, with like JJ, he sung like the highest note in fucking Eurovision history when it comes to like a male vocal. Nemo blended 3 incredible genres together. Like I feel like with France, I'm just looking for like a whoa. And I feel like the song is really great. It's like it's sophisticated, it's a great production. I'm just wanting something a little bit more from the song. Not her. She's great. Um Alrighty. Denmark, Finland for me, Malta, Czechia, Denmark, Lithuania, Australia. Yeah, I mean, I got to tell you guys, I mean, I don't want to spoil too much, and anything can happen before I film this next video for my ranking, but I got to say, Australia is definitely up there. Definitely up there. And I know they're not European. I know people don't like voting for them at this in this competition, but they are very, very solid for me. I mean, unbelievable vocal, great song, great key change. What more could you want? What more could you want? Is Luxembourg qualifying? According to the odds, they're like solidly qualifying. Now, do I have that much faith in them qualifying this year? Not as much as I've had in previous years. It would be the first time Luxembourg has failed to qualify for a Eurovision final because they've only been in this competition now the last couple years, and they've qualified every time. So that would be interesting. Do I like Cyprus? I really do like Cyprus. The song is incredible production. I love the like post-chorus energy. She's great. She's got tons of charisma. My only complaint about Cyprus this year is I feel like it flatlines. It doesn't really go in interesting directions at the very end. Like the last course is the same as the first course, essentially. So I just wanted like a vocal elevation or more instruments being added to the end or some sort of interesting, like I don't know. I need something to like tip it over the edge. But anyways, it's 11:58 my time. I've got to bounce for lunch. It's been an absolute slice. As always, I really appreciate you guys coming on here. And yes, make sure to like, subscribe. I will definitely put out really interesting content coming to you. As I said, my next video is a ranking video. It's my favorite video to do, I think, every year. Well, I've only been doing this really 1 year, but this is the second year. It was my favorite video last year. So yeah, I'll rank all of the songs, their sonic quality, you know, from the stage performances that we saw, kind of like rank that. That will play a little bit of a role too in my ranking process. But make sure to subscribe as always. And I appreciate you guys coming on here and love y'all. And we'll chat soon. I don't even know how to end this. How do I end this? Do I do this? End stream. Your stream will stop immediately and you and your guests will no longer be live. Okay, yeah, I guess that's it. Alrighty, peace out. I'll see you guys soon. Love y'all, and we'll chat later. Bye-bye.